Countdown to Kickoff, we are talking about defense. Who are the leaders of the best defensive teams in the Valley? Who are the biggest defensive stars in the Valley? We don't give the defense quite enough credit because they don't get the stats, they don't get the yards. Sometimes they get interceptions, sometimes they get all-state, and then they come back. We'll talk about a couple of those. But, Brendan, let's start with you. On the defense, who are you looking at to excel this year? Why, and who are the best?
I think Wesco takes pride in being a real physical team. They got 7 starters returning on defense. Jose Montiel, you mentioned earlier, is an all-state defensive end. I like Mike Galvan at Rivera. He is a big kid on the defensive line, and Rivera not known for their defense in years past. I think they want to change that this year.
Yeah, of course, they always were back when, of course, Coach Tom Chavez was the coach. Rivera was definitely known for their defense, but you're right. But Galvan, definitely a good choice over there. How about you, Alex?
Wesco East. And we talked about it earlier. They're just so good. We talked about it before in the 32-40 segment. They're just like they do it, with the pass rush. They do it with the secondary. One complements the other in terms of if they're going against a team with the spread. They rush the passers. They got good zone coverage or good man-on-man coverage. They mix it up a little bit over there. We talked about Harlingen's offense, but their defense is usually pretty good in Harlingen, and it kind of has to be when you go up against schools that run the spread offense there in that district, and let's not forget about. We talked about Wesco High, we talked about Wesco East. The PSJ schools, PSJ North in particular, year in and year out, that's one of the best defensive programs each and every year, and I don't think they get enough credit over there at Far North.
Okay, I'll go with that. When it comes to defensive stars, maybe the best and the most highly recruited athlete in the Rio Grande Valley is a defensive star, and that would, of course, be Sal Martinez over at Edinburgh. That man likes to lay the wood to the receivers when they come up with the ball. Just saw him do it last week against Mission in a big scrimmage over there. He is one of the best players in the Valley, bar none, and he is, of course, a great defensive star. Another great defensive star, Ubaldo Insignia, the nose tackle at pace, who has been clogging up the middle for 3 straight years now, and he's going to be doing it again. Expect him to make All-State this year for Brownsville Pace and Coach Morales. It seems like the linebackers in the secondary at Sharon, they've got some fantastic coaches over there. Coach Fred Sanchez has got some great assistants, and just as a core, the defensive backfield for Sharon is always something that you can look out for.
Well, they were the only team last season to completely shut down Javier Famat. I mean, they basically held Palmview, not scoreless, but they beat him up on their defensive side. Jacob Rodriguez is the safety that's coming back, which is really going to spearhead their secondary.
I mentioned before, one of the guys to look out for on that San Benito defense is Sammy Sonia. He's been injured before, but that man is a great defensive back, and if he can stay healthy, he will definitely show it. And speaking of defensive backs, of course, Noe Castillo coming back for La Villa. He was All-State defensive back as well. All right, that is it for talking about defense. Now we're going to talk about one of the toughest defensive districts in the Valley, one of the toughest districts top to bottom in the Valley. That would be District 31-5A. We're going to talk about it when we come back on Countdown to Kickoff 2011.